Advantage Ward. Knox to serve. Quiet, please. It's just out. It's game, set, to Ward.
Chris Knox, born 1952 in Chicago, went to Dunedin after a long time, tried being a student, didn't work, did The Enemy, which is the first punk band from Dunedin, then that became Toy Love, came into Auckland, went to Australia, that died after 5 months, came back, Toy Love split up, became Tall Dwarfs with Alec, helped get Flying Nun off the ground, bought a 4-track, discovered home recording, started a solo career. It's late 80s by now, and then the 80s turned into the 90s, became huge, famous overseas, and am now relaxing in my kitchen after a potentially nasty game of squash earlier on with Barbara. Why do I perform? Well, the first time I got up on stage with The Enemy, it was just like, this is it. I've been wondering all these years what I'm good at, and I think I'm good at this. I desperately like being here, and I don't see any reason not to perform. It's a way of getting money. There's that really interesting thing between performer and audience, whereby they become this one seething sort of gelatinous thing, and the feedback between performer and audience is a really wonderful thing, especially if it's going well. If it's going badly, it can be not good for the ego at all. But a good audience and a good performer together can make something that just doesn't happen in any other way.
Well, hey, neither do I, and I don't care. I meant to hit the pedal there to go right down again, but I missed. One of the things that happens when you wear jandals. Haven't I got what I wanted? Haven't I got what I need? Anything more would be wasted. Anything more.
Home recording is great. The way I do it, like with solo albums, I play everything. I've had people come in and play strings on one record, but generally I play absolutely everything. And with my lack of musical skills, I have to really push myself in order to come up with good ideas. But being totally in control is something I've always liked. I guess I must be a control freak. I've never thought of myself that way, but I must be. And you know, just having the time to do it when you want to. Not having any $125 an hour hang over your head, not having a record company saying you're spending too much money, and you come up with solutions for things that you wouldn't in a studio, because they'd be able to go, oh, you want that? Yeah, we press this button. Whereas here, I want this. I'm going to have to build a glass case around my head and put a vacuum cleaner up my bum in order to get that sound. And it'll be a more organic sound because of that.
We have friends all around.
What we're doing here is very similar to the way I make the music. It's very hands-on, it's very basic, it's as primitive as hell, as you can tell. I mean, a piece of cardboard held on by a bit of sticky tape with a couple of bits of straws sticking out of it. It's not exactly what Disney would recommend.
Love is weak, fit for none.
A dinky keyboard to get by. This has got its own rhythm section. And its bass. And its piano. This is the omnichord, magnificent human instrument. To be played with the thumbs. Stylophone is used by David Bowie on Space Oddity, where he goes, "Here am I sitting in my tin can," or something like that. Things that make big squelchy noises like this parametric filter. Oh, God's truth. Strobe lights. Well, theoretically, strobe lights at, I think, 8 flashes a second are supposed to spin me off into an epileptic seizure. But I've never had any problem. Mind you, when I saw Hair, when I was about 21 or something, long, long time ago, when they had the strobe scene near the end, I was feeling a bit sort of queasy. But that just makes me feel a little ill. I've never actually had a seizure from them. The thing about strobes is that, and that repetitive thing, repetition of very simple elements is why I'm in love with loops, also sound loops, tape loops, just doing anything and then looping that. After a while, after you listen to a loop just by itself, you start hearing all this other stuff. And if a loop is is the basic bed of something, and there's not too much on top, your ears start hearing different things every time you listen to it. And it's a wonderful way to anchor a song. Love it.
I have a feeling there's nothing to do, but again I know there must be something more than bones and legs, something more than creeping words. There's a song in my mouth, struggling hard to escape me, while it may, but it's viscous and raw, too naive and unshape me to betray. But I still wish I could be all the woman inside of me, just to feel and just to say all the things that woman means.
Topics come from all over the place, whether it be from reading the Herald in the morning, or a magazine, or a comic, or TV, or the radio, whatever's happening out in the street. I mean, out in the street, not the street, because I'm far too old to know about the street anymore. And from all other sources, just like conversations. I could end up writing a song about being interviewed by a bunch of idiots for a TV project. Whatever happens to burble up to the top of my brain when I'm sitting down there desperate to put some lyrics out.
So I see you by my side, I wonder if your suicide affects me like I think it ought to do.
15 years ago, because I was more on the aforesaid street, I was writing more about, things that I guess other people could relate to easily. Like going out and getting drunk and having unsatisfactory sex, all those sort of things that you do when you're reasonably young and in a band and in that sort of milieu. But I was also writing about the things I'm still writing about, like outsiders in society. I still write about sex, but in a different way now. Then it was more like a frustration thing. Now it's more like a communication thing. So it's changed a bit, but not a lot. I think the basic sort of core concerns are still there, which are communication, relationships, and the whole outsider thing. I'd like to point out at this juncture that I don't think anybody's an outsider, because I think everybody's as totally fucked up as anybody else, and the further you delve back into your brain, the more you find out just how messy you are. Other people may be more obviously messy, but everyone's an outsider.
I don't know who I trust with my time.
Lyrical devices. I guess the main one that a lot of people have ditched in the last 10 or 15 years is rhyme and scansion. I use those really anally. Like, I'm very careful, for example, not to stress the wrong syllable in a word, because I hate that in other people's work. I use that as a device to focus what I'm saying, because if you use a reasonably stringent rhyme scheme, then you're really stuck with the words you can use, and that really channels you and makes you focus on the idea that you're trying to express, because you can't just say any old thing. It's got to have these structural elements, which is, it's quite a good discipline. In my 20s, politics wasn't something that really interested me a lot. By the time The Enemy and Toy Love ground into action, politics was starting to creep a little back in, but it was only when I met Barbara in 1980 that I started to become more of a political beast again, because she was just discovering feminism, really, after a past equally as checkered as my own. And this seemed like the nearest thing to a political system that I could actually embrace, because as a kid I wasn't your archetypal bloke. I didn't play sport, I didn't get pissed at parties at school and all that sort of stuff. I waited till I was a delayed adolescent before getting into that. But I wouldn't really describe myself as a very political person even now, mainly because I'm lazy and I'm shy, believe it or not.
I met him in July '77. He was working as a postie at the time in Dunedin, so he was like really fit, like really muscly little legs, and he was very tanned, because he was outside all the time.
When I first met Chris, the notable thing about him over a short period of time that I noticed was that he had very strong opinions about very basic things that I found really refreshing in their time in the spot in the late 70s.
I remember when we first started practicing, I don't think he really liked practicing. He just wanted to go off to the beach and lie in the sun. I remember he had lots of girlfriends, and he used to go to the pub a lot.
I think he just liked flying in the face of fashion, and he consciously went about to wear the most revolting clothes that he could find, and he succeeded admirably.
Well, he was always really conscious of how he'd come across on stage. And I remember the first time we played, he let his hair sort of grow long, and then before we went on stage, he shaved one side, so he was really short on one side and really long on the other.
I had this image when I was young that you would get into a relationship and it would just be. You would do work at the beginning and it would just be, and it's been completely thrown out the window. And it requires work all the time.
Because I live down here in Christchurch, and Chris and Auckland don't see each other that often, but it's good. And when we get together, I look forward to seeing him, and recording's fun kind of thing, rather than it being like work.
He'll be making great music when he's 70. And he and Alec will be great in an old man's home together.
This is a love song to John and Leisha's mother. This isn't easy, I might not write another, but it's you that I love, and it's true that I love. It's love not given lightly, but I knew. We fly in the face of fashion, full scale and fair. We fly in the face of fashion.
I met Chris in Dunedin through some old friends of mine. That would have been like 1971. Initial memories of him was just being this very strange person. In fact, he was almost like a clone of David Bowie at the time.
I think when he first was here, he was a man with a mohawk.
Towards the end of the set, Chris pulled out a beer bottle in the middle of the song Iggy and started slashing his arms, and all these huge boot boys, I thought they were really tough, all started being shaking and quivering, a couple were sick. and the Enemy were cool. Chris Knox was cool. They'd made it.
At that stage, Chris would have been 20, I guess. He sort of epitomised what punk was all about, you know, even though he wasn't really a punk. You know, there was never any intentions for it to become a career in music or whatever. It was just kind of, we all just fell into it, really. Oh, it was pretty hectic, sort of out of control sort of lifestyle. We used to drink an awful lot.
In fact, they used to bludge the last half of your cigarette because he didn't like the first part of the cigarette. So he used to come along and just when you were finishing off the cigarette, he'd come and pinch the last half of it.
I think Chris is a person of more than one mood.
Chris just liked to shock people.
Maybe it's somewhat predictable that he's unpredictable.
Chris has never cared about fashion. He's always dressed for convenience.
By the time I started going out to gigs, he'd already left Dunedin, and then they came back as Toy Love and played at the Captain Cock, but I was too young to get in, so a little group of us stood outside and yeah, Lucinda came out and sang on the fire escape for us. And yeah, and now here I am running his label in New Zealand.
He's still essentially very much the same person where he was when I met him 20 odd years ago.
The driving forces in the Ward Knox household were sort of the same as anywhere else, I suppose. Enough money to keep the family rolling along. With us, it's mostly, you know, freelance work with lump sums being involved. There's not much in the way of weekly stuff rolling in on a regular basis, so it can get a bit scary at times. So we have to get motivated to actually do stuff. Like I have to think, oh God, I've got to go and do some gigs, and Barbara thinks, oh God, I've got to go and do some carvings. So money is the main motivating force. I'd like to think that there's a desire to be good, well-rounded, ethical, moral human beings as well, and to set a good example for others by being so. That's got to be some sort of motivation. And sex. I wanted nothing to do with fatherhood. I wasn't in the least bit interested. It was just like the least important part of the whole sexual process as far as I was concerned. But when Barbara got pregnant with Leisha, our daughter, it seemed like it was the right thing to do at the time to embrace this whole concept. It was very difficult though. The first couple of years we were the only people in our peer group who actually had kids. And it meant that our flatmates, for instance, were going out partying and stuff, and we were stuck behind looking after the kid. And we felt very, very lonely. So those first years were quite difficult, especially because Leisha didn't sleep. But once we got into a circle of people who were also parents, and our peers suddenly started having kids as well, it became a lot easier. And I love it. I mean, there's aspects of it that are really annoying, especially as your daughter enters the real teenage years. But, you know, I just can't imagine life without them anymore. And it's, you know, for me, it's my first blood family, really, because I'm an adopted kid. So these are the first people I know are mine, you know. It's quite a sobering thing. And it's done what it's supposed to do. It's mellowed me out. I no longer go out and get absolutely pissed every night. I no longer take lots of drugs, go to gigs virtually all the time, smoke other people's cigarette butts, have sex with anybody under the sun. All those things have gone. I think I'll be a better granddad than I am a dad, because parenthood doesn't come easy to me. Having been an only kid as well as adopted, you know, I became very selfish. I became very self-obsessed, and so I'm not good at giving time to my kids. But I think by the time grandparenthood rolls around, knowing that I don't have to be with these creatures 24 hours a day is going to make things a lot easier. You know, like I see other people, other grandparents, and they have a ball. They just get all the good bits without the bad bits. It's wonderful. Looking forward to it. But Leisha will probably turn out to be lesbian and John gay, so we won't have any grandkids and that'll be it.
I know, what do you know? I remember.
John insisted I'm his favourite singer. Leisha was a real big fan, particularly of the Seizure album. Mostly they listen to 60s music, so they like the prettier ones of mine rather than the louder post-60s ones. They both enjoy my drawing and stuff. They both really enjoy what Barbara does with the carving. I don't actively, teach them anything really, except if it, seems relevant at the time. But I think they osmose quite a lot. I think the most important thing, as far as they're concerned, is that they can see a different way of earning a living. Like, you don't have to go to work for other people. You can sit at home. As far as they're concerned, we just sit at home and do nothing. Barbara does a lot of housework and that, but basically I just laze around. But all this money keeps coming in, so I don't know whether it's a good thing or a bad thing that they're seeing it that way, but they do know that you can make money creatively, which is great. But I guess I'm vaguely well known, but I don't think anybody quite knows what I'm well known for, which is quite about how I like it. I wouldn't like to get any more fashionable than I am at the moment, thanks. 10 years, I'll have probably shifted from the sea, and I'll probably be in the kitchen, I would imagine. I'll be still in this house, still with Barbara. Hopefully, at least she'll be 24. Hopefully she'll have left home by then. John, at 21, should have left home also, but they stick around for a long time these days, so you never know. I'll still be making records, both by myself and with Alec. Still be having good sex, hopefully. See no reason why not. Just basically doing what I'm doing now, but 2 years ago I never would have thought I'd be doing a TV review, movie review thing. So God knows what'll happen, but it'll just be pretty much the same. Jack of all trades and master of none, just pulling the wool over the public's eyes in various different arenas.
On the 10th of October 1995, Chris Knox departed New Zealand for his third trip this year to the USA. After 3 weeks of performing to huge crowds, he was presented with a gold record by Michael Jackson for his hugely successful album, Songs of You and Me. He was asked to join the newly reformed Beatles, but held out for a possible opening with the Velvet Underground, following Sterling Morrison's untimely demise. On his return home, rumours of an impending knighthood for his services to the arts started to circulate. These began after Governor-General Dame Kath Tizard was overheard dropping his name at a special function honouring the 49th lineup of the Chills. Meanwhile, Chris retreated to his workroom and started making his next record.
I break into a grin, I break into a grin,